would like to start this video by welcoming you to my channel. This is the first video of many to come. You can expect more videos like this one you're about to watch, as well as short documentaries and other videos relating to the paranormal and supernatural. So, this is Superfactural, and I hope you enjoy my first video. If you find the paranormal fascinating like I do, then it must always excite you to learn of new haunted locations that you could potentially visit yourself. Well, from the house that hosted the supposed devil baby to the site of a gruesome axe murder, here are 5 haunted locations in America that you can actually visit. What better way to start this list than with a graveyard, and supposedly the most haunted graveyard in America? Bachelor's Grove is a small abandoned cemetery located in the southwest suburbs of Chicago. Though it has only 82 burial plots, it is still considered to be one of the most notoriously haunted cemeteries in the United States. During the 20s and 30s, Bachelor's Grove was rumored to have been the main dumping ground for Chicago's organized crime facilities, and most notably for Al Capone himself. According to the legends, the lagoon was where they chose to dispose of the bodies. Being isolated and near the back of the abandoned cemetery, it certainly drew their attention. Among the general eeriness of the cemetery, people have reported hearing murmurs coming from the lagoon, seeing floating orbs of light, strange shadows, a phantom farmhouse, and even full-bodied apparitions. Most famous of these apparitions is the so-called White Lady, also known as the Madonna of Bachelor's Grove. The Lady in White is usually reported to be seen near the Fulton family headstone. Witnesses have reported seeing her as semi-transparent and is usually openly weeping. It has even been reported that she has approached people and asked if they've seen her infant daughter, whose headstone is located directly behind the Fulton families. This is perhaps the most famous photo of the alleged Lady in White captured at the graveyard in the early 1990s. It is considered to be one of the top 10 ghost photos of all time, and it even ran in the well-known Chicago Sun-Times newspaper. The apparition was supposedly not visible when the photograph was taken. It is perfectly fine to visit the cemetery during the day, but as vandalism in the cemetery has increased, it has become illegal to explore at night. Trespassers can expect plenty of police presence. However, if you do want to visit Bachelor's Grove at night when it's reportedly the most active, don't worry. There are copious amounts of ghost hunts and investigation tours that offer the chance to explore the cemetery at night.
Continuing on with this list, we are going to be talking about one of the most haunted houses in Chicago, and somewhere I have actually visited, the Hull House. The Hull House was, and still is, an amazing organization. It was founded in 1889 by Jane Addams and Ellen Gates Starr as a settlement house. While there are many different claims and reports of the Hull House being immensely haunted, it is most famously known for its story of the Devil Baby.
The legends of the Devil Baby differ somewhat, but the main story states that in the early 20th century, somewhere in the Levy district of Chicago, a devout Catholic woman hung a picture of the Virgin Mary in her home, only to be torn down by her atheist husband, who proclaimed that he'd rather have the devil himself in the house. Well, soon after, the lady gave birth to a hideously deformed child. Reports claim that the child was born with red scales all over its body and horns on top of its head. Some even say that it had cloven hooves and a tail as well. The couple was so appalled by the appearance of the child that they took it to the Hull House. This is where the stories diverge a little. One story claims that after a priest refused to baptize the child, Jane Addams planned on doing it herself, but while her back was turned while making preparations in the church, the child vanished and was never seen again. Another story that many people believe more is that members of the Hull House staff took the child to be baptized, but before the ceremony could be completed, it danced and laughed at the priest and broke away. Afterwards, the staff locked the child in the attic of the Hull House until it died. It is reported that the Devil Baby can still be seen in the windows of the attic. While these stories certainly are spooky, there is speculation as to how much truth they convey.
For instance, a possible explanation as to why the baby looked how it did could be an unfortunate medical condition such as fetal alcohol syndrome or perhaps the extremely rare and severe harlequin ichthyosis disorder. This disorder causes the skin to thicken and also separates plates of the skin with deep cracks. Additionally, the eyes, ears, and limbs may be abnormally contracted. If you look at these side-by-side pictures, it leads you to wonder if this disorder was the cause for the confusion. Nonetheless, the legend of the devil baby has fascinated many people to this day, and was even supposedly the inspiration for the classic, critically acclaimed horror film, Rosemary's Baby. The Stanley Hotel is a 420-room colonial revival hotel located in Estes Park, Colorado, offering a beautiful view of Lake Estes, the Rockies, and Long's Peak. The Stanley Hotel has been around for over a century, and has even hosted the famous horror novelist Stephen King. During their stay, King and his wife stayed in room 217 and realized that they were the only overnight guests as the hotel was getting ready to close for the season. The Stanley Hotel was so beautiful, as well as spooky to him, that he was inspired to write one of his most famous novels, The Shining. King even reported that during his stay he encountered a young child, although there were no children visiting at the time. As credible enough it is that the Stanley Hotel spooked the king of horror himself, countless guests have also been spooked by the hotel as well. Many have attested to eerie occurrences that cannot be discounted, such as lights turning on and off, doors opening and closing, items and luggage being moved around, shadows, drafts, unexplained chills, and the list goes on. These claims have cemented the Stanley Hotel as one of the most haunted hotels in America. There are too many reports of hauntings in the Stanley Hotel to fit into this video. However, we will be talking about some of the better known spirits said to haunt the hotel. Freeland Oscar Stanley, the founder of the hotel, is one of the spirits that is most often reported. He has been seen many times in the lobby as well as the billiard room, where it is claimed that he materialized during a group tour. Both guests and staff members have seen him and describe him wearing a suit, a bowling hat, and a big smile. Another spirit said to hang around the hotel is Mr. Stanley's wife, Flora Stanley. It is said that she enjoys playing the pianos in the ballroom and the music room. Usually guests or hotel staff will hear the music, and when they check to see who's playing, they are greeted with a vacant room. Although, sometimes the keys can actually be seen moving, but when you approach closer to the piano, the music stops. At times, the piano music has been so loud that guests on the second floor have actually called the front desk to complain. Not all of Flora's appearances take place near a piano. She has also been seen walking down the grand staircase in a Victorian-era dress. The last ghost we'll talk about is the maid Elizabeth Wilson. She occupies room 217, which is the room Stephen King and his wife stayed in. She is known to unpack people's luggage, hang up their clothes, and turn on the water in the bathtub. Many have claimed to have left the room and upon return find that their clothes have been unpacked and put away for them. The room is so notoriously haunted that people would steal the number off of the door as a souvenir. It happens so often that the hotel now sells it in the gift shop. Ohio University is possibly the most haunted college campus in the United States, and maybe even in the world. It seems as though any location on the campus has its own backstory and speculations. For example, one story states that members of the Delta Tau Delta fraternity stole a headstone from the allegedly haunted Sim Cemetery and almost immediately began to experience odd poltergeist activity in their house. It wasn't until after they returned the stone that the activity stopped. According to legend, Washington Hall is actually haunted by an entire basketball team. Years ago, a girls' basketball team visited Ohio University and had such a good time there that after they were all killed in a bus accident, they decided to relive that good time in Washington Hall, which is where they stay between practices. A spookier story comes from Crawford Hall. Crawford Hall began to experience its paranormal activity after the death of a girl named Laura.
a resident who fell from her 4th floor window. It is said that lights will flicker and doors will slam shut or open on their own. One night, an RA was awakened by a silhouette of a girl in his now open doorway. She apologized for waking him and closed the door. The RA followed her into the hallway, but there was no one there. Later, he found out that the window of his room directly faced the spot where Laura hit the sidewalk. There are many more haunted locations within the campus, but the most haunted location goes to Wilson Hall. Wilson Hall is home to room 428, where there have supposedly been many deaths. The first death to occur in the room happened in the 1970s, where a young man died of mysterious causes. After that, every person who lived in the room would experience strange occurrences, such as objects flying around and smashing against the walls, strange voices, and spookiest of all, demon-like faces would appear in the wood of the door. No matter how often the door was replaced, the strange faces would continue to appear. The most recent death was that of a girl who was attempting to astral project, which is the practice of having your conscious state separate from your physical body, allowing you to travel through an astral plane. It is said that she died in a violent way. Due to the copious amounts of dangerous hauntings said to take place within room 428, it is now locked and the door is sealed to prevent any visits. Some say that Wilson Hall is cursed, giving the explanation that it sits dead center within 5 surrounding cemeteries that form a pentagram. While this most likely isn't the cause, the coincidence certainly is spooky. The final place we'll be talking about is actually pretty distinctive to me. I've grown up hearing stories about it and I've had the chance to visit a few times. Many of the images you'll see were actually taken by me and a friend upon my most recent visit. So prepare yourself to learn about none other than the Villisca Axe murder house. Back in the year 1912, the small, cozy town of Villisca, Iowa, hosted one of the most gruesome slaughters ever recorded. And like I said, Villisca was a small town, the kind of town where everybody knew each other, and with that familiarity came a sense of peace, comfort, and safety. The kind of safety that gave the residents no reason to lock their doors at night. That kind of safety is, for the most part, not a reality we are able to experience today. And during that late summer night in 1912, that reality turned harsh for the Moore family. On the night of June 10th, the 4 children of Josiah and Sarah Moore invited their friends Lena and Ida Stillinger to a sleepover. Long after the full house was asleep, a man snuck into the unlocked house and closed the door behind him. It was thought that he hid in the cellar prior to his break-in, although some believe he could have been waiting in the attic as well. According to the town coroner, he slid past the room where the 2 Stillinger daughters were sleeping, and crept his way upstairs into the bedroom of Josiah and Sarah Moore, where he proceeded to bludgeon them with the blunt end of his axe. His next victims were the 4 Moore children. Surprisingly, it is believed none of them awoke throughout the process. The final victims of this slaughter were the 2 Stillinger daughters, Lena and Ida. It is then believed the killer caught a train and escaped the town, never to be caught. It was discovered that, oddly, the killer covered his victims' faces as well as all the mirrors in the house with sheets. No one knows why he did this. What do you think? The Villisca Axe murder house is considered to be one of the most haunted locations in America, and if you would like to visit, you're in luck. The owners of the house offer free daytime tours almost every day, and if you and up to 5 friends can scrape up $400, you could actually spend the night there. Although it is claimed that the house is so incredibly haunted, hardly any are actually able to stay there all night. You are also able to visit the nearby cemetery where the Moore family and the Stillinger daughters have been buried. So, that's 5 haunted locations in America that you can actually visit. I hope that you enjoyed my first video, and with you guys, I look forward to diving deep and uncovering more spooky and unnerving topics our mysterious world has to offer. Additionally, if any of you have visited or plan on visiting any of the locations mentioned in this video, I would love for you to share your experiences with me. If you enjoyed the eerie music you heard in the background of this video, it was created by my friend DJHippie. You can check him out by following the links in the description below. This is Superfactural, and always keep a constant curiosity.